The CN Tower French, Tour CN, is a 553.3 meters high 1,815.3 feet concrete communications and observation tower in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. 3/8 completed in 1976, it is located in downtown Toronto, built on the former railway lands. Its name CN referred to Canadian National, the railway company that built the tower. Following the railway's decision to divest non-core freight railway assets prior to the company's privatization in 1995, it transferred the tower to the Canada Lands Company, a federal crown corporation responsible for the government's real estate portfolio. The CN Tower held the record for the world's tallest freestanding structure for 32 years, from 1975 until 2007, when it was surpassed by the Burj Khalifa, and was the world's tallest tower until 2009, when it was surpassed by the Canton Tower, 9, 10, 11. It is currently the 10th tallest freestanding structure in the world and remains the tallest freestanding structure on land in the Western Hemisphere. In 1995, the CN Tower was declared one of the modern 7 wonders of the world by the American Society of Civil Engineers. It also belongs to the World Federation of Great Towers, 5/12/13. It is a signature icon of Toronto's skyline 1415 and attracts more than 2 million international visitors annually. 5/16, it houses several observation decks, a revolving restaurant at some 350 meters, 1,150 feet, and an entertainment complex. 17. History. CN Tower from the Toronto Islands. The original concept of the CN Tower was first conceived in 1968 when the Canadian National Railway wanted to build a large television and radio communication platform to serve the Toronto area, and to demonstrate the strength of Canadian industry and CN in particular. These plans evolved over the next few years, and the project became official in 1972. The tower would have been part of Metro Centre City Place, a large development south of Front Street on the railway lands. A large railway switching yard that was being made redundant after the opening of the Macmillan Yard north of the city in 1965, then known as Toronto Yard. Key project team members were NCK Engineering as structural engineer, John Andrews Architects, Webb, Zarafa, Manx, Housden Architects, Foundation Building Construction, and Cameron Eastern Structural Division. 348. As Toronto grew rapidly during the late 1960s and early 1970s, multiple skyscrapers were constructed in the downtown core, most notably First Canadian Place, which is Bank of Montreal's head offices. The reflective nature of the new buildings reduced the quality of broadcast signals, requiring new, higher antennas that were at least 300 meters, 980 feet tall. The radio wire is estimated to be 100 meters, 335 feet long in 44 pieces, the heaviest of which weighs around 8 tons, 8.8 short tons, 7.9 long tons, 18. At the time, most data communications took place over point-to-point microwave links whose dish antennas covered the roofs of large buildings. As each new skyscraper was added to the downtown, former line-of-sight links were no longer possible. CN intended to rent hub space for microwave links visible from almost any building in the Toronto area. The original plan for the tower envisioned a tripod consisting of 3 independent cylindrical pillars linked at various heights by structural bridges. Had it been built, this design would have been considerably shorter, with the metal antenna located roughly where the concrete section between the main level and the skypod lies today. As the design effort continued, it evolved into the current design with a single continuous hexagonal core to the skypod, with 3 support legs blended into the hexagon below the main level, forming a large Y-shaped structure at the ground level. 819. The idea for the main level and its current form evolved around this time, but the space deck later renamed Skypod was not part of the plans until later. One engineer in particular felt that visitors would feel the higher observation deck would be worth paying extra for, and the costs in terms of construction were not prohibitive. Also around this time, it was realized that the tower could become the world's tallest freestanding structure to improve signal quality and attract tourists, and plans were changed to incorporate subtle modifications throughout the structure to this end. 819.
Construction map of the area immediately surrounding CN Tower shortly before the opening of Ripley's Aquarium of Canada in 2013. The CN Tower was built by Canada Cement Company, also known as the Cement Foundation Company of Canada at the time, 20th subsidiary of Sweden Skanska, a global project development and construction group. Construction began on February 6, 1973, with massive excavations at the tower base for the foundation. By the time the foundation was complete, 56,000 to 62,000 short tons, 55,000 long tons of earth and shale were removed to a depth of 15 meters 49.2 feet in the center, and a base incorporating 7,000 cubic meters 9,200 cubic of concrete with 450 t 496 short tons, 443 long tons of rebar and 36 t 40 short tons. 35 long tons of steel cable had been built to a thickness of 6 point. This portion of the construction was fairly rapid, with only 4 months needed between the start and the foundation being ready for construction on top. 19. To create the main support pillar, workers constructed a hydraulically raised slip form at the base. This was a fairly unprecedented engineering feat on its own, consisting of a large metal platform that raised itself on jacks at about 6 meters 20 feet per day as the concrete below set. Concrete was poured Monday to Friday, not continuously, by a small team of people until February 22, 1974, at which time it had already become the tallest structure in Canada, surpassing the recently built 381-meter 1,250 feet tall and Co Superstack in Sudbury, built using similar methods. The tower contains 40,500 cubic meters, 53,000 cubic of concrete, all of which was mixed on site in order to ensure batch consistency. Through the pour, the vertical accuracy of the tower was maintained by comparing the slip form's location to massive plumb bobs hanging from it, observed by small telescopes from the ground. Over the height of the tower, it varies from true vertical accuracy by only 29 millimeters 1.1 in. 819 Skycrane or the lifting antenna segment in August 1974, construction of the main level commenced. Using 45 hydraulic jacks attached to cables strung from a temporary steel crown anchored to the top of the tower, 12 giant steel and wooden bracket forms were slowly raised, ultimately taking about a week to crawl up to their final position. These forms were used to create the brackets that support the main level, as well as a base for the construction of the main level itself. The space deck, currently named Skypod, was built of concrete poured into a wooden frame attached to rebar at the lower level deck, and then reinforced with a large steel compression band around the outside. 19. While still under construction, the CN Tower officially became the world's tallest freestanding structure on March 31, 1975. 6. The antenna was originally to be raised by crane as well, but during construction, the Sikorsky S-6 for Skycrane helicopter became available when the United States.
The CN Tower French Tour CN is a 553.3 meters high 1,815.3 feet concrete communications and observation tower in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. 3/8 completed in 1976. It is located in downtown Toronto, built on the former railway lands. Its name CN referred to Canadian National, the railway company that built the tower. Following the railway's decision to divest non-core freight railway assets prior to the company's privatization in 1995, it transferred the tower to the Canada Lands Company, a federal crown corporation responsible for the government's real estate portfolio. The CN Tower held the record for the world's tallest freestanding structure for 32 years, from 1975 until 2007, when it was surpassed by the Burj Khalifa, and was the world's tallest tower until 2009, when it was surpassed by the Canton Tower, 9, 10, 11. It is currently the 10th tallest freestanding structure in the world and remains the tallest freestanding structure on land in the Western Hemisphere. In 1995, the CN Tower was declared one of the modern 7 wonders of the world by the American Society of